Hey, Dad? Yeah, Paul Heyman. He called you out on Raw. He talked a lot of smack about you, what you said about Brock Lesnar, and he said you should go and fight him. So you've got to go get him. All right? Yeah, go get him at Survivor Series. All right. Love you, Dad. Bye-bye. Goldberg, Lesnar, fighting, and another decent episode of Raw with plenty of ups and downs, which is handy because the name of the show is Ups and Downs. Anyway, I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this is where we decide if Raw was a good show or if Raw was a bad show. Although I kind of just gave that away when I said I thought Raw was decent. But either way, let's go all the way up so we come crashing back down. Let's get out of the way nice and early. Chris Jericho, best, wonderful, legend, hero, sweetheart, up. Everything he did on Raw was great yet again. He even made an obvious commercial for a chocolate bar entertaining. And that's not easy to do. I couldn't do that. If I whipped out a washing machine right now, you'd know I was trying to sell you a washing machine. The man deserves all the praise in the world, which is why each and every week on Ups and Downs, I give him all the praise in the world. He was then fantastic in his segment with Kevin Owens, especially if you noticed when he crossed Stephanie McMahon's name off the list after she gave him the potential chance to compete for the Universal Championship, and then he had a great match with Seth Rollins. Chris Jericho is gonna go away again soon because he has to go being Fozzy and stuff like that, and Raw is gonna suffer because of it. So, Titus O'Neil. He's a joke now, right? New gimmick, new brand, loses every week on Raw. On top of that, don't forget what R-Truth and Titus were feuding about. Titus was mad that Truth stole his payday candy bar, which is what children do in playgrounds the world over. This could all be leading somewhere, of course, but at the moment, it feels like Titus is just the punchline to somebody else's joke. And we know the lesson here, don't ever tug on Vince McMahon. Wait, not that kind of tug. Don't pull his blazer. Remember he pulled his blazer and he got, look, forget it, it's a down. It's official, friends. Well, it's kind of official. My dad Goldberg is coming back to fight Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, and that is an up. There's a really nice story here too, as Paul Heyman made clear on Raw. Goldberg does have one over Brock Lesnar because he beat him in their WrestleMania match. So now the Beast Incarnate wants his revenge. And if you don't like the fact that Goldberg is coming back, well, good for you. I don't care. It's your emotions, it's your feelings. You don't have to care, but I think it's great. I mean, I love Brock and I love Goldberg, obviously, because he's my dad, and I want to see what the two can do when there's not a load of politics ruining the match. We should all be excited. It's gonna feel really special. The cruiserweights continue to soldier on each week, but the tag match was unfortunately a down. It wasn't any of the wrestlers in the match fault. They did what they could, but they were given no time. When you're given no time, you can't really do much. There's nothing wrong with that, really. If you've got to fill a few minutes of TV time, then you've got to fill a few minutes of TV time. And what they did was entertaining, and it was nice to now know that Sin Cara is part of the cruiserweight division. But it's a bit too early on to be treating them like this, like shallow. Shallow booking, and you start to think, it's just filler. I'll go to the toilet or buy myself some popcorn. That's not what we want. It's got to be important. Not great. Gallows and Anderson came out and kicked the shit out of Enzo and Cass. That's how they should have been booked from the start. They look dominant. They look like badasses. There's nothing else to say. I like it. It's an up. Put another up on there too because it was that much of an up. Let's move on. It's that time again, folks. Get your pen and paper in hands because it's time to figure out whether Stephanie McMahon is a face or whether Stephanie McMahon is a heel. As before, there's no answer because she's both. This week she started to defend Mick Foley, even though a few weeks ago she was tearing him to shreds and acting like she wouldn't say boo to a goose. But she would say boo to a goose, and she'd probably slap it in the face too. I don't mind the teasing, but the Jekyll and Hyde routine just isn't working, and it continually makes Mick Foley look stupid. Or more stupid given what he was wearing last night. Sorry, Mick. Down. Look at Braun Strowman getting all mad and frustrated because he's tired of squash matches. That's great, and it's an up. Last week he asked for more competition, so Foley put him in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Unfortunately, these two idiots were still jobbers, so Strowman wasn't happy. He wants proper names. The rumour is this could all be leading up to the debut of One Samoa Joe. Now, while that would be great, It would also suck because, let's face it, Samoa Joe is definitely going to lose that feud. But I love Samoa Joe, so I'm just going to focus on that instead. And then I'm happy. Remember when Hell in a Cell was a one-off special attraction that got you excited? Remember when it existed because a feud had got so out of control you had to lock two wrestlers in a cell? That's dead now. Forget about it. It's never coming back. There is going to be 3 Hell in a Cell matches at the upcoming pay-per-view, and to be frank, that's just too many, especially because there's no reason to put any of those feuds in a Hell in a Cell. You're only doing it because the name of the pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell. It doesn't work. Having the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match is a definite up. Things like that have been long overdue, and I want to see what Sasha Banks and Charlotte can do. But the whole thing now just feels way too gimmicky, and that's a down. Good work, WWE, on building a feud between TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick that I can buy into. It's got a story, it's got feelings, there's animosity. This is what we want from the Cruiserweight division. And it's an up. Not only did we find out how close the two used to be, but we also saw a darker side of Kendrick where he swung for Perkins, but Perkins got the upper hand and moved out the way. You can now start to decide who you like and who you don't like, and then we'll just move in that direction. Maybe you like Kendrick, maybe you like Perkins, but most of all, you can decide and you've been given all the information. I like that. Great stuff. You've got to admit it, WWE is now booking Roman Reigns in the right way. I mean, they've got it wrong since the dawn of time, and if they had done this, a few years ago, who knows what Roman Reigns would be today, but forget about that. If we focus on today, they're doing it right, and that's an up. Also, that spear over the top of Sasha Banks in their mixed tag team match. I don't care how much you want to boo the man, we all know that just a little bit, you popped inside. If WWE keep doing this, there's every chance that the Roman Reigns experiment may work. And of course, that's an absolute lie. It's never going to work. It's already dead. What are you going to do? In my estimation, that was a really good episode of Raw. We've got other things to look forward to, such as the debut of Emelina. Now, that is a stupid and that is an awful name, but most wrestling names are awful and stupid and we get used to them, so we haven't got to worry about it. Also, Hell in a Cell will be good, if not a little overbooked, and until then, we can just enjoy the ride. So enjoy the ride and smile and make you feel good. Now go over to WhatCulture.com and read the article that this was all based on by one Scott Coulson, and then comment, like, share, and subscribe. And then come follow me on Twitter at SimonMiller316 and tell me what you thought of Raw. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and at the recent WCPW shows, I was told off for not having a catchphrase, and that's when the now broken Adam Blompier stepped in and said that my catchphrase should be, I'm Simon, and I'm huge. So I guess that's it. That's my catchphrase.